Dear friends, this is episode number 45. We will continue with Order 26. Yesterday, in the last episode, I mentioned about rules 9 and 10 of Order 26. Question whether it can be set aside and all those things. There is a grey area that there are conflicting decisions. All those things I mentioned. Now, I would like to mention some of the decisions for your consideration. I also refer to Rule 14 to indicate that the wording in Order 26 Rule 10.2 are different from the wording in Order 26 Rule 14.2. Now we will see some of the decisions. 81 KLT 360 Hydros versus Govindangutti was one of such decisions. It was decided by Justice M.P. Menon. That was a case where a disputed document, a promissory note, where the finger impressions of the defendants appear, was sent for examination by a fingerprint expert. The fingerprint expert in Jaipur said that does not tally with the specimen thumb impression of the defendants. Thereafter, after getting that report, the plaintiff filed an application to appoint another fingerprint expert from Nagpur for the same purpose. That was objected to on the ground that without setting aside the report of the first expert, the second expert cannot be appointed. The court did not agree with that, and the court allowed that application, against which a revision was filed. Revision was disposed of by Justice M.P. Menon in Hydros versus Govindangutti. Justice M.P. Menon said that without setting aside the first report, another fingerprint expert can be appointed. And the question of setting aside does not arise, is the view taken by Justice M.P. Menon on the basis of the wording of Order 26, Rule 10.2. And that particular case was a case for Commission for Scientific Investigation, performance of scientific investigation, which comes under Rule 10A of Order 26. But Rule 10A2 says the provisions of Rule 10 of this order shall, as far as may be, apply in relation to the commissioner appointed under this rule as they apply in relation to a commissioner appointed in Rule 9. For local inspection of property, Rule 9 applies. And when a commissioner's report is received, that has to be dealt with under Rule 10.2. I said yesterday, after reading the provision, that there is no word in Rule 10 indicating that the court has power to set aside the commissioner's report. That was noted by Justice M.P. Menon in that judgment. And several decisions of that Madras High Court and all those things. And it was noted in that decision by Justice M.P. Menon that there was a wrong practice in Malabar, indiscriminately appointing commissioners after commissioners. And therefore, the courts adopted a method that without setting aside the commissioner's report, another commissioner cannot be appointed. But that was the practice which was being followed in Travancore. So there was a difference in the matter of practice and in the matter of this setting aside. And the court in 87 Hydros versus Govindangutti held that another fingerprint expert can be appointed without setting aside, without being dissatisfied, without holding that the first commissioner's report is wrong. The court has power, but cautioned in the following words: this is not to give the key of the distillery to the alcoholic. Warned the courts that That does not mean that you may appoint one expert and thereafter another expert. In appropriate cases, you can do it. And in that particular case, on the facts of that case, it was held that another expert can be appointed. That expert submitted a report that was contrary to the report of Jaipur Commission, Jaipur expert. And later the case, the Nagpur expert was examined and cross-examined, and thereafter the case was settled. That is a story. And then His Lordship Justice MP Menon in Aidros versus Govindangutti distinguished a division bench decision in Swami Premananda's case 1985 KLT 144. 85 KLT 144. That was a division bench judgment. Swami Premananda Bharati versus Swami Yogananda Bharati. There it was held. That was appointment of an auditor to settle accounts and all those things. Say removal of a Madhadipati trust and all those things were there. Several rounds of litigation. It came from the Supreme Court after the appeal is disposed of. A commissioner was directed to be appointed. An auditor was appointed. Then the court, without assigning any reason, dissatisfied with recording dissatisfaction with the report of the auditor and the commissioner, appointed another one and relied on that report. That was the peculiar facts of that particular case. But as a dictum it was held that without setting aside the first commissioner's report, another commissioner cannot be appointed. That is a dictum later. This created very great difficulty in the matter. I will say how the difficulty arises. Rule 10 says that the commissioner's report will form part of the record. It will be evidence in the case. If it is evidence, it cannot be effaced. It cannot be wiped off. It cannot be discarded. But if the court is dissatisfied with the proceedings of the commissioner, it may direct such further inquiry. And in 1986 KLT 578, Justice Varghese Kalliath in Shivaraman versus Narayanan referred to it. Referred to 85 KLT 144 also in paragraph 8. The decision cited by the counsel for the respondent may not assist him to say that under no circumstances, without setting aside earlier report, the court cannot issue a second commission or the same commissioner to note details which have been omitted by him when he made the first report. This was noticed by Justice MP Menon in a later decision in 1987 1 KLT 355. 87 1 KLT 355. Dr. Subramanian versus KSCB. Justice MP Menon reiterated his first stand. That was a single bench decision. 87 also single bench. But 85 KLT division bench. Reiterated his view and referred to and said that how that decision is to be distinguished. A very old decision, a century old decision was followed in 85 KLT 144. That decision related to the rules which were then in existence. Those rules are quite different from Rule 10. And that was the distinction made out. And therefore, that cannot be relied on to hold that without setting aside the first commissioner's report, under no circumstances a second commission can be appointed. That is not so rigid, and in appropriate cases a second commission can be appointed without setting aside the report. And it was noticed by Justice MP Menon in both these decisions. 81 KLT 360 and also 87 1 KLT 355. That there is a question of setting aside arising. Setting aside does not arise under Rule 10. The court, for any reason dissatisfied with the proceedings of the commissioner, it may direct such further inquiry to be made as it shall think fit. That is the wording, and therefore question of setting aside does not arise. That is a wrong understanding of things and a wrong practice that is being followed in some parts of Kerala. And the practice in Malabar was different. That was also noticed. That was noticed by the Madras High Court also. That was also wrong. But strictly in accordance with the provisions. When we compare Rule 14.2 along with Rule 10.2 and 10.3, it is clear that it cannot be set aside. And say to appoint a second commissioner, it is not necessary to set aside the same. Setting aside does not arise under Rule 10. And the same view was accepted by another division bench in 2017 1 KLT. 2017 1 KLT 1041. Francis Assisi versus Sister Brescia. And it was held that a commissioner's report cannot be set aside like that. Various provisions have been noticed, various decisions were noticed, and all those things. Now, therefore, there are 2 division bench decisions and 3 single bench judgments running contrary to each other. It is for the lawyers to think that this is high time that a matter is referred to a full bench and a decision is rendered. But, see, various aspects are to be looked into. The development of law, the practice that is being followed in various parts of Kerala, how it was frowned upon by the Madras High Court, and how the various provisions are worded, and all those things. Now, I will say one more thing for your consideration. Rule 10.2, in contradistinction to Rule 14, says that the commissioner's report shall form part of the record and it shall be evidence. Once it is evidence and it is a part of record, how can it be effaced? How can it be neglected? How can it be, you may not accept it, that part of the evidence, or better evidence is available, you may rely on it. But can you say that that report will be removed from the file? Cannot. Court cannot. That will be on record. Then another practical difficulty I may say. Why this decision view taken by Justice M.P. Menon is good, why the view taken by the latest decision of the division bench in 2017 is correct, and how 85 KLT 144 requires reconsideration. I will give practical examples for the consideration of law students and lawyers. See, a suit is filed today. An emergent commission is taken. It is alleged that the defendant has cut down 10 trees standing on the boundary. There are another 50 trees standing on there. His intention is to cut down all the valuable trees. A commissioner is appointed. Commissioner goes there. He notes the practical, the physical signs of the trees having been cut, the wooden logs placed at such and such places. He assesses the value of the wooden logs, and he assesses the loss sustained to the party on account of the cutting of trees. That commissioner stopped practice. Or a lady advocate, she was married by a person who is working in USA. She went there. She is not available. Thereafter, after filing the written statement, and inspection of the property is required for the purpose of identifying it with the help of surveyor. Is it necessary to set aside the report with respect to cutting of trees in order to appoint a commissioner to survey the property? What is the connection between the two? Nothing. And simply because a survey commission is to be appointed, a commissioner has to note down the physical features of the property, measure the property, identify the property. Simply because of that, should the report submitted by him touching upon the matters of relating to cutting of trees be effaced? What is the logic in it? So that one part of the evidence goes. So if the report is against the defendant, what the clever defendant will do, he will pray for appointing the commissioner to measure the property and to identify the property. Then without setting aside the first report, the other cannot be appointed. Court sees the necessity of identifying the property. Court has to set aside the first report. On what ground? For what purpose? And what will happen to that part of the report where all these things are noticed? So then that will put the parties to untold misery. Various views can be taken. But what is the logic in that view? What is the practical difficulty in that view being taken? How the parties will be put to trouble? How the court will be disabled from deciding the case in accordance with the merits completely and effectually? All these are matters for consideration. I said a commissioner is appointed, an experienced commissioner is appointed. He passed away. He has submitted a report. Report is all right, but there are certain omissions there that is to be supplied. Should the report be set aside? Or the omission supplied by appointing another commissioner? Or as I said, the commissioner stopped the practice. Commissioner passed away. Or commissioner is not willing to do it. Some allegations are made against him. So commissioner says that, please exonerate me. Please avoid me. Various circumstances may arise where a commissioner suffers some physical disability to inspect the property, which is a terrain, large extent of property. He cannot go there because of his physical inability. What to do? What will happen to the first report, which is otherwise meritorious? Should it be set aside to appoint appoint a commissioner to note the omissions, or to note an entirely different thing? That is why Justice Kalliath in 86 KLT said, first commission may be for a particular purpose. If for an entirely different purpose a commissioner is to be appointed, it is not necessary to consider whether the first report is to be set aside or not. There is nothing wrong in appointing another commissioner, because it is for an entirely different purpose, so that there does not arise any conflict between these two decisions. These are the various views which are available with respect to rules 9 and 10. Now please go through all those judgments, apply the provisions, arrive at your own conclusion. I just add the view which I have personally. I have a personal view on that matter. I am personally of the view that 85 KLT 144 requires reconsideration. No doubt about it. I was having that view all throughout. This is quite personal view. Personal view. It is for the court to decide. There are two conflicting decisions of the Kerala High Court, both the division bench. And there are 3 single bench judgments which opposes 85 KLT 144. It is for a larger bench to decide all these things and to settle the matters and to clear the grey area. Yes. Now we will go to Commission for Scientific Investigation, Rule 10A, and Rule 10A2 says that the same procedure as in Rule 10 will apply. Performance of Ministerial Act for sale of movable property, all read and understand. Then Commission to examine accounts, 75C, Commission to make partition. This is an area which is quite difficult. Let us see the provisions. Rule 13, Commission to make partition of immovable property. And I will give various tips to the young lawyers and also to the law students as to how the partition is to be effected, how the court has to do it, how difficult it is, and how equitable it should be, how the parties are prejudiced if a wrong report is submitted. or the commissioner does not adhere to the norms, commissioner does not look into all the relevant details, make a partition somehow or other, and a perfectory report. All these things I will refer to. Let us first see what are the provisions. Commission to make partition of immovable property. Rule 13. Where a preliminary decree for partition has been passed, the court may, in any case not provided by section 54, issue a commission to such person as it thinks fit to make partition or separation according to the rights as declared in such decree. Say 54 says that when the land is land paying revenue to the government, the collector or a subordinate officer shall be appointed to make partition. And I am told that in some of the North Indian states, even now, the collector makes it. After passing the preliminary decree, it will be sent to the collector to make division and to submit report. But in Kerala, such a practice is not there. Here, advocate commissioners are being appointed. And if measurements in accordance with the survey is required, surveyor also can be appointed. Then Rule 14, procedure of commissioner. The commissioner shall, after such enquiry as may be necessary, divide the property into as many shares as may be directed by the order under which the commission was issued, and shall allot such shares to the parties, and may, if authorized thereto by the said order, award sums to be paid for the purpose of equalizing the value of shares. So what are all the things to be done? After such enquiry as may be necessary. It is inspection, getting all the necessary details. Divide the property into as many shares as are directed, and shall allot such shares to the parties, and if authorized in the order, award sums to be paid for the purpose of equalizing. That is ovalty amount. A property having an extent of 1 acre is to be divided. There are only 2 sharers. So normally it can be equally divided 50 cents, 50 cents. If the property is a property without any improvements, same type of land all throughout 1 acre. So one portion can be given to one party, other to the other party. There may not be difficulty. Even if the valuation is taken, if it is valued at 1 lakh, if it is valued at 2 lakhs, if it is valued at 10 lakhs %, that does not matter much, because equal land is given. So even if it is valued at 1 rupee, that will not make any difference. That will not create any difficulty to the parties. On the other hand, if that 1 acre is to be divided into 2 shares, there is a building in the property which is standing in such a way that it cannot be divided as 50 cents, 50 cents. One portion it is 40 cents, the other portion 60 cents. Because of the valuation of the house, the extent will be less, this side, and the extent will be more for the other side. So 60 cents and 40 cents with the house, 40 cents with the house, 60 cents bare land. Valuation of the land will be made, then that valuation becomes very important. Valuation of the house also becomes important. So any error committed by the commissioner may put the parties to great difficulty. It will end up in their misery. So the duty of the commissioner is double, is great. That is one thing. Then ovalty amount. See, the property, how to divide the property? The property will be measured. Property will be valued. What are all the improvements standing on the property? That will be valued. Houses and other buildings, that will be valued. Then if there are 10 shares, 10 shares must be separated. Buildings and appurtenances must be allotted. One sharer may get a house. Sister may say that the house should be allotted to her. The brother may say that the house should be allotted to him. all these disputes arise, then an equitable division is to be made by the commissioner. That is why the power is given to the court. Yes, the commissioner allots the house, Tarwad house, ancestral house, with the appurtenant land to the plaintiff who is a sister. Court finds, taking into account the objections by the other parties. Sister has so many other houses. One brother is in a difficult situation, he has no house. So therefore that house is to be allotted to him. Vary the order, vary the report, need not set aside. Vary the allotment. So in plot A is allotted to the plaintiff, plot A, the court can direct that the plot A will be allotted to one of the defendants. That can be done. Or if there is valuation, the court does not agree with the valuation made by the commissioner, court can ask him to redo it and adopting a particular value after considering the evidence adduced by all the parties. Or there is a mistake in calculation, arithmetical mistake, it can be corrected. Or the extent is not properly allotted to different parties, variation can be made. Or if it is completely useless, it can be set aside. And if it is useful, if it is acceptable to the parties or acceptable to the court, and there is nothing wrong in the report can be confirmed. Confirmed means the decree will be passed on the basis of that. Let us see Rule 14(2). The commissioner shall then prepare and sign a report. Or the commissioners, where the commission was issued to more than one person and they cannot agree, shall prepare and sign separate reports, appointing the share of each party and distinguishing each share, if so directed by said order, by metes and bounds. By metes and bounds means by separating it on ground. Expression is used is metes and bounds, METES. Such a report or reports shall be annexed to the commission and transmitted to the court. And the court, after hearing any objection which the parties may make to the report or reports, shall confirm, vary or set aside the same. Where the court confirms or varies the report or reports, it shall pass a decree in accordance with the same as confirmed or varied. See the difference. But where the court has set aside the report or reports, it shall either issue a new commission or make such order as it shall think fit. See the difference when you compare with the Rule 10. The court for Rule 10 says that the court is dissatisfied with the report of the commissioner, it shall pass such orders. It does not use the expression vary, confirm or set aside. Whereas in the case of partition it is required. Some variation alone will do the purpose. Variation is made. Or if it is to be confirmed, everything is alright, confirm it. And what is the effect of that confirming? Rule 10, it shall form part of the record and it is part of evidence. Whereas the report, if confirmed under Rule 14, that is the commissioner's report in a case for partition, it shall pass a decree in accordance with the same, as confirmed or varied. So normally these reports and plans, the plans will form part of the final decree. Final decree will be engrossed on stamp papers. It is a permanent record, that is just like partition deed. And in most of the cases where commissioner is appointed to partition the property, the commissioner's allotment of various plots with measurements and all those things will form part of the decree. There are some cases where along with the decree, these reports and these plans will be appended. Plans may be in some cases 10, 15, 20, like that. In cases where there are a lot of properties. So that is the distinction. Whereas in a suit for injunction or recovery of possession where identification of the property is there, the commissioner identifies the property, makes a report. That report, the court is dissatisfied with the report. Court may pass appropriate orders. Court may appoint the same commissioner to redo it or say without setting aside. Where is the question of setting aside? Question of setting aside does not arise under Rule 10. whereas it arises under Rule 14. Because that report has varied, confirmed or set aside and then further report obtained, that helps the court to pass the decree, that culminates in the decree, whereas under Rule 10, it is only part of evidence. Court has to consider various issues and then pass a judgment and decree in the other case, other than a case for partition. But in the case of partition, after the preliminary decree is passed and a commissioner is appointed to pass a final decree, the position is entirely different. Position is entirely different. Therefore, that distinction is to be drawn while we consider whether Hydros versus Govindagutti is correct, 87 KLT is correct, 86 KLT is correct, 85 KLT 144 is correct, or 2017 1 KLT is correct. All these things are to be borne in mind. This distinction makes the position clear. And see, it is not the wording alone. How those wordings have practical impact on the various situations that may arise in the case of a local inspection under Rule 10 and a local inspection and filing a report for partition under Rule 14. This must be borne in mind. Then only we can approach the question as to whether this setting aside, confirming, varying, why it is there. The Parliament did not use those expressions without any reason. Reasons are there. Now we will go to the next episode. I will give practical tips to the lawyers and the law students as to how the partition is to be effected and all those things. I think that giving some see, as a lawyer and as a judge, I had come across various opinions expressed by lawyers in various parts of Kerala that nowadays people do not know, the advocates do not know how to make partition, how to file report, how to help the court, that even judicial officers say that they find it very difficult. Therefore, it is necessary to empower the lawyers also on these questions. How partition is effected. Now, formerly when I was practicing in the trial court, very experienced clerks were there. They know all these things. But nowadays that category is vanished. And therefore I will give some practical tips with respect to the partition and how the report is to be made and all those things. And I will also refer to the apparent conflict between Order 18 Rule 4, Order 18 Rule 19, Order 26 Rule 4A and Order 18 Rule 5. Though it is Order 26 also comes, that is why I will either under Order 18 I have to take it or either under Order 26 I have to take it. Since we are dealing with Order 26, I thought it fit to deal with that question now itself. I will deal with it in the next episode. Thank you.